raise of hands and show of hands, who believes there is still some breath of life in the solar manufacturing chain in Europe? Don't be shy. All right, guys, I guess we go off for lunch. They don't believe in it. Or it makes your job even more difficult. So you do not believe that there's a breath of life left in the solar manufacturing industry in Europe. So are we talking about revitalization? Are we talking about dead men walking? What is it? And I'm very happy that we have a very diverse set of experiences on the panel. Simona, I will come to you in a second, then Alex and Michael. We have solar module manufacturing and trading. We have battery energy storage manufacturing. And we have grid intelligence in its entirety, if I may be so frank. So you already see it is an interwoven element, and what I found interesting in the earlier panels, we're still speaking of standalone. I think the times of standalone are over. IPP no longer stands for an independent power producer, but rather for an independent power provider, including different elements. Coming back to the revitalization and our intensive care unit here. Let's talk about 3 elements of a potential revitalization and what could make the difference. Simona, are we in Europe smart enough to revitalize elements of the supply chain? I'm not talking just or only the module and the PV elements, but there's more to it. There is elements of power electronics, there's battery energy storage elements, and there, of course, is the wide array of grid technologies, I would say from the wire to the control. So are we smart enough?
I would say we are. So, and I think this is also the result of the geopolitical situation that we saw happening in the last years. Also a reaction more than an action, I would say, from Europe. But I am also coming from Siemens Energy. So I lead the sales for grid technologies in Europe. And of course, everything what comes into the grid must go through a grid connection. This is exactly what we bring to the table. The possibility from mid and high voltage and all the complete products and solutions for it, including substation products like transformers and so on, and also batteries and battery storage, and everything what is related to data. And we in Siemens Energy also have a lot of factories in Europe. Not only in Asia, not only in North America and Latin America, but also in Europe. So we were for sure disrupted also during COVID time and geopolitical situation, but we are also, let me say, smart enough to have already in place a lot of factories in Europe. And I see more and more also, more companies expanding the factories in their location and also bringing the production back where we need that, because allows you then to have a better reaction time when it comes to disruption.
Okay, understood. Thanks for the first comment. Michael, to you. Modules.
Yeah,
and your history with modules and the manufacturing of it. I'm interested in a specific element, and then you guys can all come in at a later stage. Do we in Europe, from your experience and walking the borders, have the mindset to do what it takes to revitalize the manufacturing base? So do we have the mindset in Europe to actually do it? What's your take?
I think in the mind we have that idea and target to do like this, but so far we are not yet. We have a far way to go to move ahead.
I agree. Use the chance to give us a bit of an insight to you personally and to your professional journey, and why it is me asking Michael about the European mindset. So, where are you coming from? What have you done professionally? And what's your take on it?
Okay. So first for myself, I started the solar business from 2009. So now it's like 16 years old. At the beginning, I devoted a lot of time in the European market. I think, grew up with a famous local manufacturing brand here. But lately, we know the stories. Some disappeared, some moved to USA, moved to Asian countries. But now, the result is not that good. And currently, we want to rebuild the manufacturing and also supply in the European regions. So from my side and also from our side, we both do the manufacturing for the solar industry like PV cell, wafer, modules. We also do the investment for such kind of manufacturers. Together, we give the supply chain service to provide the equipment, to supply the raw materials, give the financial support up to 5 years, 7 years, to make their new factory grow up. Also,
allow me one question.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer if you don't like. The investment intensity in Europe across the supply chain that you supported compared to outside Europe. Can you give us a percentage?
I can give the comparison because recently I go to USA, go to Africa because the new tariff from Mr. President US. So I go to different countries, negotiate the incentive, the electricity cost, the power cost, also the land. I found most people think in Europe the cost is high and also manpower is high. But actually I found in some countries in Europe, in the border of EU, but still in Europe, the manpower is very competitive and the local person is very kind. They are friendly. The electricity cost, I compared it with the USA and Africa. I think this country is even lower than USA. USA is around 7 to 8 cents per kWh. And when I was in Africa, there is around 12 cents or 13 cents US per kWh. So I found there is a potential, the country, we can support the local production. But maybe people have not found that. But we found some such kind of resources that will be very useful and powerful in the future.
Thanks so much for the insight. So I would go as far as saying we may not have the mindset because Michael is looking in Africa to localize production rather than in Europe for now. Alexander.
Yes.
Battery energy storage. Hot topic, part of the title, obviously, of this conference. You're a representative of one of a few European ownership-driven manufacturers. Now, the element that interests me, capital. Who financed you? Is it European capital? Is it equity? Is it debt? Is it a mix? So, what's the capital appetite to actually support manufacturing in that kind of technology? What's your take?
I mean, of course, I mean, the appetite to invest into best manufacturing, in my opinion, is quite big at the moment, just because of the demand, what is happening at the market. But in looking at Solar MD, it's a South African business, so we're coming from Africa, right? Our owners are European, they're from Bulgaria, but we have our kind of like production heritage, or like where we come from is in South Africa, so we manufacture there, and that started 12 years ago. So, I mean, at that moment, firstly, also the capital outlay wasn't as big. We have investors from in South Africa, which invested into our local production facility. And then obviously slowly but surely it grew up and the demand increased. So we have already more than batteries in the market for over 10 years. And we got the knowledge, we got the experience, we know exactly what's happening. We control the whole process also. Like in our factory, we don't just, we assemble the battery. The only thing which is not a solar MD product is the cell. The cell we still, like upstream, is like still the cell manufacturing is a far too expensive process and very capital intensive. And we made a calculation that like if we wouldn't produce more, like we need to produce more than 10 gigawatt hours of cells, that at one point, let's say like in Africa, for instance, manufacturing would make sense. But still then, getting to that point, is the market even as big enough there for that? So we decided, of course, we partnered with CATL, using their cells, and then everything around it, the BMS, the battery pack, the EMS, everything is our in-house products. So we manufacture that in Cape Town, in South Africa. That's where kind of like our engineers sitting. And 2 years ago, we decided, okay, now it's time. The European market is waking up. I mean, that's what's been in Africa, been there for many years through power problems. And now we open up a factory in Bulgaria. The reason, because of we have 2 of our owners are from Bulgaria. So we opened up our factory there. And yeah, that's been going pretty good since then. And we now, 2 weeks ago, broke ground for a new, bigger facility, also in Bulgaria, where we can produce up to 3 gigawatt hours. So then in Cape Town now, our new facility is also 3 gigawatt hours. So the manufacturing, which I guess the knowledge and know-how we build now in Cape Town, in South Africa, we're bringing up to Europe and trying to, yeah, build the production line here.
I find it an incredibly powerful example. And would you say that, coming back to the question to Michael, mindset, did mindset make a difference here? It's a Bulgarian, South African mindset, if I take it correctly, and it's mostly equity driven, is that right? So there's no senior financing involved?
No.
Okay, so it's equity, risk taking.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And from your perspective, by birth, you're...
Myself?
Yes?
I'm German.
So he has an outside perspective when I ask him about mindset comparisons. Africa, South Africa, and Bulgaria. Did mindset make a difference in the location and revitalization of battery energy storage manufacturing capacity in Europe, from your perspective?
I mean, we have the mindset for sure as Europeans to grow industries and to do manufacturing. I mean, if you look around, like in Germany, I mean, we are a country of manufacturing, right, and innovations, right? I think it's kind of like in our blood in general, and like also like across Europe. I mean, a lot of, now looking at Eastern Europe, a lot of these countries started big production.
I'll stop you there because you're evading my question. I would counter it, so why did Northvolt fail? If we have the mentality, why did they fail? And why did you not fail?
There's some reasons, but I'm not sure if we should discuss this.
Give us a hint. Give us one. Give us one.
I have an opinion on that, but I don't think we should.
It stays in the room. That's the promise from everyone. So, give us one opinion. So, why did it fail?
I'll tell you the difference. I'll tell you the difference.
Yes.
So the difference is we control the whole process of battery systems. We know exactly what happens. They just saw it as an asset, right? So they were maybe not deeply enough involved to control the products.
Would you allow me
to fast up?
Yeah. Would you allow me to label some strains of their behavior as arrogant?
That's what you said.
Okay, he does not say no to that. Simona.
Thanks.
We've heard mindset, we've heard capital,
Yeah.
we have heard the smart, and all of it is a given apparently, but still, we're talking to a dead man walking, and I would argue not even walking. We're lacking a fourth member of our panel, Jean-Marc from Socomec. I would have asked him about politics. No, I'll rephrase it. To which extent does politics play a role from your experience and perspective, because you have a very wide and long-standing experience, to which extent does politics play a role in a vitalization effort in Europe?
I think a major role, I would say, a major role. So it is important, and you can see really in the different countries in Europe, and I used also to work with Africa and South African before, where you have politics that are helping producer, that are helping also the TSO and DSO in the transmission of the energy with subsidies, with permit, and which much faster possibility to build this kind of factories and sites, then you see that the possibilities are higher for company to thrive. And I was in another discussion with a customer in Saudi Arabian. So they are also building up like crazy. Most probably the major energy transition we will ever see. And they were complaining that to have a permit to build up actually a complete site and put their wind power production with gas, batteries and everything, it takes 2-3 years, which is very long for them. In Germany, it takes 6 till 7 years. So that is the magnitude when you see that if the politics make it easier for companies to invest, they will. If you don't have the right rules and also the right financial benefits to do that, then you will move to other countries and other regions where you have that, when you have that possibility of easy financing, when you have also a faster return of invest, and when you have the possibility also to have a skilled personnel, which is also another big issue that we have in Europe. I'm always asking myself if it's really like that, or if it's just a problem that we don't pay people enough for the job that they do. But for sure also to have skilled people is a big issue, because it's something that in Europe, or let me say in Central Europe, let me say in Germany and so on, we lack. If you go more to the East Europe, you have much more of them. And if you go to China, it's incredible. I mean, every university produce every year, 8,000 top skilled people. And they have, 450 top university. That is immense, the number of the people that they produce. So that is also something that will make the change, make or break it. Also to have the personnel that is going to drive that factory, bring that technology into life, and really also transfer that know-how and make it with quality, right?
Important points. Thanks so much. Michael, from your perspective and experience, can it, under today's volatility, intensity, complexity, be done individually, or do we need a partnering setup and mindset? What's your take on that? So is it to be done, and I'm talking geopolitically now, not company level wise. So can it be done individually?
I think the answer is certainly cannot be done individually. Should be together, like industrial alliance. In my opinion, for example, I'm more familiar with the solar. Even for the solar in European, the full supply chain, the upstream, downstream, is a little independent, not too many interaction together. So sometimes I think individually a company is strong, but sometimes we cannot put all the advantage, be a combo together. I'm thinking how to make the, I like Germany production very well. I respect, I want to say. For example, for made in Germany or made in Europe, I think the local government should also give some incentive for the local producer. It's the first, like other countries did. Maybe that not a lifetime, but at the beginning is necessary. And secondly, in Europe, there are so many IPP, solar power projects. Now they mostly buy from China. It's very low cost. To protect local production, I will suggest in certain percentage, they should buy local content. Like USA, they count 25%, 45% local content to make the local raw materials supplier bigger union, bigger alliance to be together to achieve the target and the success.
Great point. Thanks so much for that. It brings me back to the beginning of my career, and I was working in finance. I'm missing somebody from finance on the panel, but I'm sure there's... Could I have a show of hands who considers her and himself, itself, themselves, sorry, acting in the finance industry? Equity, debt, banking, investment? Come on, you're joking. Not a single one? Over there. Just give me a hint. Equity? What is it? Not just, but also. Question is, who are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Julia Meirošu. I'm a group CFO to an EPC, and we help our investors also handle financing topics.
Wonderful. But you would not invest funds into manufacturing, correct? Only project-based?
That's not correct. I think European manufacturing of certain components of industrial scale renewables could and should be encouraged. And I see some of that happening in my country as well. I come from Romania, and we see...
No, come here.
Excuse me.
Let us stand over here because then I can have a chance to engage maybe even more.
Okay, so I see that in my country as well. I see that in neighboring countries. I see that in Turkey, for example. So it's clear that for the value chain and for the region's energy independence, getting more manufacturing in is crucial. True, for some of the components, still China is going to beat us at the cost base.
Yeah.
But maybe for things like transformers, things like inverters, things like something like that, we should get our capabilities back.
Fantastic, and thanks so much that you
We see
gave
battery manufacturing ramping up. We have in Romania, in the region, we have local manufacturers there. Indeed, they do come a bit more expensive, but the gap is shrinking. And then the recycling of the batteries is also a point. And local manufacturers are under EU rulings to recycle them, and they take them over at end of life, and they do that part as well. So we don't only think of how we deploy them, but how we treat them at the end of life.
Perfect example. And the second beacon of hope after Alexander. Thank you so much. Just as a show of hands from the beginning, where you were basically assuming a flat line for this patient, now you've heard two beacons. Are you still at 0%? Show of hands if you are 0%. That's easier. It seems that you are too deprived of food because you can't raise your hands. So the rest is not at 0% any longer. From my perspective, I don't know how you three see it, and thanks again for the comment. Europe's manufacturing future in those aspects seems to be south and east. Would you say that as well? South, sorry, and east. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially east, we also see, you pointed it out earlier already, like there's very skilled people, skilled workers. What we also see, I mean, in Bulgaria, we're fortunate to really have a good team there. Yeah, people are also hardworking, right? Where if we actually look at, let's say, like a normal manufacturing class worker who would, in Germany, works maybe 33 to 34 hours a week, right? It's there 38 hours still to 40 hours. So like also like, I mean, everything we do here in Germany, like everyone is going a little bit towards less work, right? More money, less work. And that little bit of like, okay, let's do it is missing quite a bit. I feel this is in the mindset definitely missing a little bit, where we can see this in the Eastern European side a bit more. People are happy for the work, and they want to come and they do extra hours in, and then they push a little bit more.
I'll forget about all this working policy elements because it's too controversial. I thank you for the comment, but I take the one thing, and now I got you. Mindset, the let's do it mentality. That is
also risk-taking.
Somewhat asleep, right?
Right.
In the further Western elements. Okay. Julia.
I mean,
Simona.
for sure.
Oh, Julia.
Yeah, for sure. We, as I said, I mean, we have a production which is differentiated. But in Germany, for example, in Berlin, we produce the FS6 free circuit breaker and everything that is there. We produce transformer. We produce then in Austria. We produce that in Italy, in Croatia. So we do have a variation of our location, and also we see that that competition between the different factories inside what we call the factory network is bringing that mentality of I am hungry for the work. I want to do it. Let's go and be successful on a higher level. And let's say, I think I wish really that the good mindset and mentality that every factory has can go to the other so that we can really leverage on it.
I'm more positive than I was before after this. I thank you so much, guys. Over here and there, that's the togetherness. We do have a mindset in Europe. We just have to look the right places. We do have the people, money. And I still don't believe there's not more money in the room, because money makes the world go around, whether we like it or not. So is one key element in terms of mindset. And here comes the standard phrase. In China, they have a 25-year perspective, and here we have a quarterly perspective. Raise of hand. I'll try it one last time. You're a difficult crowd to engage. Who believes that short-termism is hindering revitalization of manufacturing capacity in renewables in Europe? Show of hands. One question after the other. So short-termism, does it impact negatively? Now, those of you I will visit personally right now to explain us how it does not impact it. Okay, at least a few say it would. And a mind shift switch to the long-termism may help as well. Question to you, Michael. So is that an element that in terms of industrial strategy, having a longer-term versus a shorter-term perspective helps in such activities? Would you say so?
It's my personal thinking, maybe not
yeah, of course.
Correct. In normal idea, it looks like there are so many difficulties to make the European local production great again. So a lot of difficulty and barrier. But now I think the global, the different country is developing not fully according to the normal rules. For example, I take one example. There is a Chinese company, before their workers do additional work, more than 40 hours, maybe much more. But because the Europeans, they have the rules, they cannot do additional work, like maybe forced labor, maybe not. Then everything get they don't do that additional work now. So people have more time to relax, like European people. So same thing for the South or East Europe. Now they do a lot of work, but Germany, they have more holiday. But I think more and more, they have traceability, forced labor laws. They will let them to work, make the work life in good balance. So in that case, I think that there will be a good opportunity for West Europe, Central Europe. They will be succeed on the local production.
With a long-term
I think
mindset, or is it irrelevant, you say?
I think it will take several years, more than 5 years, I think.
Okay, mid to long-term perspective, right?
Personal idea, yeah.
Of course, always personal opinions up here and nurtured and fed from experience. I don't dare to try, but is there a question? There is one question. Let me, to the benefit of the rest, give you the mic.
Thank you. My question is, how crucial is the natural resources? Because in Europe it might be a problem in comparison to China, for example. Like the energy or the silicone we need for producing PV cells.
Who's taking that?
I can give some answer. For the resources, for example, resources including a lot, like the electricity is also one resources for production. So in the past, we compare Asian and Europe. In the past, because I come from China, I stay in Germany. In the past, in China, the electricity cost is cheaper, but now the electricity is get higher and higher. The people's salary, the living cost, apartment, the gasolines, everything get higher. Then the electricity, the raw material for the solar module production, all increased. I think the gap from China and like Germany will be get less and less. There will be opportunities.
Understood. And a different geopolitical perspective, it will always be an issue. But we're basically moving along the vertical chain of dependencies, and where in the supply chain do we stop? So right now, we're at the complete module, speaking of PV modules, but we could argue that there may be a useful and economically beneficial case to move upstream. That's the question. So I won't bore you much longer. Again, I'm more hopeful than I was prior to starting, thanks to all of you and over there. We do have the mindset in Europe. We just need to look at the right places. The future lies in the south and in the east. Politics needs to get its act together, because again, individually it's going to be difficult. And I still believe there's a chance for industry incumbents. That's a different panel and topic. We have the opportunities. We're not dead yet, as it seems. There's some signs of life. And with that, I'll leave you for, I don't know, panel or lunch, talking of life. It's been a pleasure.
Kai, can I have one last little remark?
Please.
Yeah. Because of mindset, because you asked for the mindset, if we have the mindset, and we spoke. I mean, I think what we will see also, same you picked up the topic of Northvolt. I mean, we shouldn't really speak for anyone who's not here to defend themselves, but I think what will happen is there will definitely quite a few of them will fail, because obviously what we naturally do short term, what you said earlier, is short term we're trying to satisfy some stakeholders, investors into businesses and driving and kind of like rolling what bigger and bigger day by day and not really knowing, okay, are we actually sustainable in what we do? And where I see, like from our side, I can only speak about how we see this and how we do it. Also for the Bulgarian factory, the new one we build now, we're not relying on investors for this. Like we're not the fastest growing, we're actually one of the fastest growing companies in Africa, but we're not the fastest moving in just like investing, getting more capital in. We're trying to grow from the inside and growing in a long term, like a legacy in a way, you know, where it's not just about like, okay, satisfying next month's quarter revenue numbers, just that the investors are happy and give us another whatever, how many millions we would like to see, that the salaries are all paid. On our side, it works a bit different. We're really trying to build something long-term, a legacy, where we have a healthy business. And there's others which are cheaper, there's others which are maybe more expensive, they work different, but we're happy. You know, we build a sustainable, good business, and also like everyone, I've been in the renewable industry for like 15 years now, and we have all seen it down, we have seen it here, there, and it happens all the time. So if we not really prepare for that, and then we know, okay, as a manufacturer, okay, there's going to be some time, it's going to be a bit slower, then it's going to be faster again. So if we're not healthy from the inside, right, and we have that mindset, I think that's very important for manufacturing business, and I think that healthy growth is what we're looking for, and I hope that our clients appreciate that, right, and partner with us and bring some, the lady earlier from Romania, I spoke there last year also, and I said like let's not push all the money back overseas, let's keep something here for our friends, families, and neighbors, everyone who works in the industries, right, and have a healthy business together. I know maybe your return of investment is a week less, right, but that week maybe you supported other families and we keep the revenues a bit between us. Everyone has a healthy business and it must make fun, I always say, like, right, it must be a good business, and that's what we're looking for as a manufacturer and also like in our partners.
Thanks for that comment. Simona, last comment from your side?
I think, I agree very much, and Siemens Energy is expanding the factory in Europe, really knowing that this is the place to be, and having the people, we are searching for the right people to do that. We are building up the right mindset, and okay, we are on the stock, so we have to bring every quarter our numbers, but that doesn't stop us to invest in Europe and continue to invest here.
Very good news. Michael, any last thoughts?
For us, we are very confident that we will put more and more like the equity, financial, and manpower into Europe. And besides the manufacturer investment, we will also negotiate with the local government for the solar power project. We will combine the project and the manufacturer together. In this case, I think sometimes at the beginning years, the profit for local production is very low, even we lose money. But if the project to be together, we can have profit there. And besides that, we also have the local incentive, local production, some also the tariff is one. One more is I have a feeling is we also opened the factory in the USA 2 years ago. So very earlier. Every people think the US people is not so working hard in some state. But actually when we go there, the people is very nice, working hard. They even like do additional work, then we pay additional wage. So something is not as we hear or we see. We should, I think sometimes we don't need to consider too much. When the direction is right, then let's go forward with one step. Then we will find more and more real situation. It's really fantastic. It's much better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Coping with insecurity, risk, perspective, greed, all those elements are part of it, psychology in humans. And with that, over to who's next.
Thank you.